What if, in the end, your greatest act of defiance against a narcissist was simply learning to live without them? Narcissists operate in a carefully woven web of control and manipulation, leaving their victims ensnared, confused, and depleted. They thrive on others' dependence, self-doubt, and need for validation. But what if the greatest surprise for them lies not in arguments or dramatic confrontations, but in something quieter, something deeper? Imagine a life where you've reclaimed control, where you stand firm in self-worth, no longer needing their approval or permission to be whole. The path to breaking free from a narcissistic bond is often shrouded in confusion and pain, yet it is here, at this turning point, that true strength emerges. This journey demands resilience, wisdom, and introspection, qualities rooted in Stoicism that many may not realize they possess until tested. And it is these very qualities that make the narcissist's hold crumble, leaving them with regret, facing their own inner emptiness. In this exploration, we will navigate 6 transformative steps to break the chains of narcissistic manipulation. Each part, a pivotal act of self-realization, restores dignity and autonomy. Stay with me to the end, for it is in the final revelation that true empowerment and closure lie. 1. Breaking free from the narcissist's influence. How does one liberate themselves from an emotional prison they may not have even realized they were in? For those entangled with a narcissist, the experience is often like being lost in a fog, unable to discern where the manipulation ends and the self begins. Stoicism offers insight here. The journey of liberation is not about overpowering the other, but about freeing oneself from the need for their approval, validation, or acknowledgement. A narcissist often expects that the person they control will continue to rely on them indefinitely, that the constant cycle of highs and lows will keep them tethered. In their view, dependency is a given. They see themselves as a vital source for their partner's emotional survival, and so the idea of breaking free, of stepping away from the dynamics they've spent years cultivating, is unimaginable to them. But what does breaking free truly mean? At its core, it means reclaiming your autonomy. It's the courage to detach emotionally and mentally, allowing yourself the space to observe the relationship objectively. Imagine yourself stepping back from a painting to see the whole picture rather than just the details. The narcissist never anticipates this shift. They never consider that their target will pull away long enough to see through the carefully constructed facade. In doing so, you recognize their tactics for what they are, attempts to keep you in a cycle of self-doubt. You see that the emotional highs were but manipulations designed to make you dependent on their approval, and the lows, they were meant to make you question your own worth, to draw you back in, always seeking validation. Breaking free requires a commitment to not engaging in these dynamics, a willingness to accept the painful truth that the relationship was built on illusions. This acceptance is a foundational step in the Stoic path, a commitment to reality, however harsh. Ask yourself, what would my life look like without the need for their approval? How much energy have I invested in trying to gain it? And what could I do with that energy if I reclaimed it for myself? The power of Stoicism lies in facing these truths head-on, in recognizing that you alone have the power to define your worth. By choosing to walk away, you do something unexpected. You reject the idea that someone else can define your value. The narcissist never considered this possibility, never thought you would simply stop playing the game. But this choice, simple as it may seem, is profound. It is a statement, I am enough as I am. In releasing the need for validation from the narcissist, you take the first step toward reclaiming your autonomy and, in turn, your life. In moving beyond their influence, you make room for a new chapter, a life no longer constrained by another's manipulation. This is the beginning of true freedom, the starting point for cultivating resilience, and a path that may even leave the narcissist themselves wondering where their hold over you went. Each step forward makes your resolve stronger, deepening your commitment to living with intention and self-respect. 2. The turning point: recognizing manipulation and trauma bonding. Have you ever felt inexplicably drawn back into a relationship even when every rational thought urged you to walk away? This cycle, what is known as trauma bonding, relies on a person's need for approval and their compassion for others. Narcissists exploit these qualities, weaving together moments of affection and cruelty, creating a constant state of emotional imbalance. They convince you that you need them and that life outside of their control is unimaginable. Stoicism, with its focus on self-awareness and inner resilience, can provide clarity here, urging us to see this bond for what it is and to ask the hard questions. At the heart of trauma, bonding is the illusion of unpredictability. A narcissist alternates between giving praise and withdrawing affection, making their partner constantly seek validation. This cycle fosters dependence, leaving the individual feeling trapped, yet yearning for the fleeting moments of approval they receive. Each high becomes more intense, each low more painful, creating a roller coaster of emotions that makes it hard to leave. Recognizing this pattern is a turning point. When you see the cycle for what it is, you begin to question, what am I gaining from staying here? Who am I outside of this relationship? In recognizing trauma bonding, you might begin to realize that the love or acceptance you were seeking was never real. Stoicism teaches that the peace we seek must come from within. It cannot be drawn from someone who does not respect or value us. Through this lens, ask yourself, have I been mistaking chaos for connection? Was it love, or simply my desire to feel loved, that kept me here? The answers may be difficult to face, but in doing so, you can break free from the grip of trauma bonding, no longer giving power to someone who never intended to reciprocate your commitment. The narcissist never anticipated you would reach this stage. They built their control on the assumption that you would continue to seek their approval, to interpret their neglect or cruelty as your failure rather than theirs. The moment you see the bond for what it truly is, you start to sever it, creating a distance that the narcissist can no longer close. This disarms them, stripping away the cycle of highs and lows they use to control you. Imagine the strength of spirit it takes to stand in this truth, to look at the person who once held your heart and realize that the bond was crafted not by genuine love, but by manipulation. From a Stoic perspective, this realization becomes a path to freedom. You no longer wait for the highs they give, nor do you dread the lows. Instead, you reclaim your inner stability, unshakable and grounded. You may ask yourself, if I let go of this relationship, what do I stand to gain? Who might I become in the absence of this cycle of hurt and confusion? Stoicism reminds us that we cannot control others' actions, but we can control our response to them. In choosing to acknowledge the reality of trauma bonding and stepping out of it, you take back your control. Leaving behind this bond might feel daunting. It means stepping into a life of uncertainty, but it is also a life of authenticity. The narcissist may see this as their loss, but you are stepping into something they can never reach, a life built on true resilience and inner peace. 3. Embracing self-education and healing. How often have we searched for answers outside of ourselves, hoping that understanding the behavior of others would ease our suffering? The journey with a narcissist, however, often teaches us that no explanation from them will ever bring closure or peace. Instead, the answers lie in self-education and healing, in taking the time to learn about narcissism, manipulation tactics, and, ultimately, in understanding oneself. Narcissists rely on their target's lack of awareness. They count on the fact that the person they manipulate will not realize the tactics being used against them. When you choose the path of self-education, you shatter this illusion, turning inward for strength instead of seeking validation from the narcissist. Self-education is a powerful act of reclaiming your autonomy. When you take it upon yourself to understand the dynamics of narcissistic abuse, you become equipped with knowledge that can transform your perception. Imagine the moment of realization when you learn about gaslighting, a tactic narcissists use to make you question your reality, or about love bombing, where initial affection and attention are exaggerated to make you feel special. In learning these terms, you begin to see through the layers of manipulation, and the fog starts to lift. Knowledge becomes not only a tool, but a form of armor. Each concept understood strengthens your resolve. Each insight gained deepens your commitment to self-respect. A Stoic approach encourages us to look inward, to observe and reflect on our experiences, asking, why did I allow this behavior? What was I seeking that made me vulnerable to manipulation? This form of questioning is not to place blame on oneself, but to cultivate self-awareness. The answers often reveal patterns within us, perhaps a deep desire for validation or a tendency to ignore red flags out of hope. Recognizing these patterns is liberating because it allows us to see where we have control, where we can change. For the narcissist, your journey of self-education and healing is a shock. They operate under the belief that you will remain in the dark, never fully grasping the extent of their manipulation. The narcissist sees themselves as clever and elusive, counting on your ignorance to keep the cycle going. But in embracing self-education, you prove them wrong. You show them that you are willing to take responsibility for your healing, that you will not be a passive player in their game. Ask yourself, what have I learned about myself through this process? How has understanding narcissism helped me regain control over my life? In choosing to understand both the narcissist's tactics and your own responses, you create a foundation of resilience, rooted in awareness rather than ignorance. This act of self-education is a Stoic act. It is a dedication to the truth, however uncomfortable it may be. By knowing yourself, you become less susceptible to manipulation, able to discern when others' intentions may not align with your well-being. With each step forward in your self-education, you gain clarity, seeing the relationship as it truly was, not through the distorted lens created by manipulation. This clarity fuels your healing, a process that the narcissist never anticipated. They never thought you would take the time to learn about them, let alone about yourself. They did not foresee a version of you that could stand on your own, free from their influence, equipped with insight and strength. This journey of learning and healing makes the narcissist's regret inevitable. They realize that you now see through the facade, that you are no longer someone who can be fooled or controlled. By educating yourself, you lay the groundwork for a new chapter, one in which you understand not only the tactics used against you, but more importantly, the strength within you. This is the beginning of a healing that the narcissist can never disrupt, a journey toward peace that they cannot follow. 4. No contact and the path to freedom. How does one fully break free from a force that has deeply influenced their thoughts, emotions, and actions? The decision to cut ties and go no contact with a narcissist can be both liberating and terrifying. This choice is an assertion of freedom and a decisive step towards reclaiming one's life. It is the ultimate statement that you value your peace more than their presence, a realization that they never expected you to reach. For the narcissist, no contact is the one action they dread, as it removes their influence, leaving them without a way to maintain control. Choosing no contact means committing to distance yourself completely, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally as well. Stoicism teaches us that we cannot control others, only our response to them. By severing contact, you assert this control, refusing to let the narcissist's actions dictate your peace or your future. Going no contact is more than a tactical move. It is a stance, a declaration that you will not tolerate manipulation or disrespect. It means that you are unwilling to engage in the emotional push and pull that has characterized the relationship. In taking this step, you take a stand not only against them, but for yourself. This decision can bring forth questions. Am I strong enough to do this? Will I miss them, despite everything? Such doubts are natural, as leaving behind any relationship, especially one rooted in deep emotional investment, can feel like a loss. However, Stoicism encourages us to focus on what lies within our control. The narcissist's response to your departure is beyond your influence. Your only responsibility is to choose what serves your growth and well-being. Imagine this. Each day of maintaining no contact, you reaffirm your commitment to yourself, strengthening the boundary that protects your peace. The gray rock method may serve as a tool when no contact is not entirely possible. This technique involves making yourself as uninteresting and unemotional as possible in any unavoidable interactions. By doing so, you deny the narcissist the emotional reaction they seek, disrupting their influence and weakening their hold over you. The narcissist relies on your emotional engagement, positive or negative. When you deprive them of this, you take away the fuel they depend on, leaving them powerless to maintain control. Have you considered how much of your energy has been devoted to maintaining or managing the effects of this relationship? By going no contact or implementing the gray rock approach, you free this energy for yourself. You reclaim your mental and emotional resources, which can now be directed towards pursuits that nourish your spirit rather than drain it. Stoicism teaches that our energy is precious and limited. Where we choose to invest it can determine our peace or suffering. In choosing to withhold it from the narcissist, you choose peace, breaking free from the endless cycle of seeking validation or resolving conflict. This freedom, however, is not something the narcissist ever anticipated. They rely on the assumption that you will continue to respond, to engage, to be affected by their actions. By stepping back and choosing no contact, you show them that their assumptions were misplaced. You demonstrate that you are no longer bound by their opinions or manipulations, that your life has taken a direction that no longer includes them. The path of no contact is a commitment to protect your peace, to live life on your own terms. As you continue on this path, you will find your inner world growing quieter, more grounded, more attuned to what truly matters. Each day spent without their influence is a day closer to true freedom, a life no longer defined by someone else's needs or desires. This is the freedom that lies beyond their reach, a life of integrity and peace, untethered from the chaos they once brought. And in this newfound stillness, you find that you have reclaimed not just your life, but yourself. 5. Reclaiming power and building a support network. In the quiet aftermath of breaking away from a narcissistic relationship, one might wonder, who am I without their influence? Reclaiming one's power often means rediscovering oneself, rebuilding a network of genuine support, and creating a circle of trust that is untainted by manipulation or deceit. Narcissists work to isolate their targets, cutting them off from family, friends, and resources that could help them see the relationship clearly. But by rebuilding these connections, you begin a profound process of healing, one that strengthens your identity and defies the narcissist's expectations. Imagine the impact of reconnecting with people who genuinely care for you, people who see you for who you truly are. Stoicism reminds us of the value of cultivating relationships rooted in honesty, respect, and mutual support, virtues that the narcissist could never offer. When you reach out to friends or family you may have distanced yourself from, or when you seek out new friendships, you lay the foundation for a supportive environment that does not rely on manipulation or emotional instability. This support network becomes a sanctuary, a reminder that you are valued and cherished, something the narcissist never wanted you to feel. The narcissist never anticipated that you would find this strength, that you would rebuild a network of allies. Their expectation was that you would remain dependent on them, isolated and without external support. They may even resent the connections you rebuild, as each new friendship or renewed bond represents a step further from their control. But this step is essential, for it allows you to regain the part of your identity that was lost or obscured in their shadow. Reflect on the kinds of relationships you want to cultivate. What values do these relationships honor? How do they align with the person you aspire to be? By consciously choosing who to let into your life, you create a circle that reflects your own growth and integrity. Stoicism teaches us to focus on relationships that nurture our virtues, relationships that encourage us to become better versions of ourselves. This is not only healing, but transformative, as it replaces dependency with genuine connection. Building a support network also involves finding people who understand your journey, those who may have experienced similar struggles. These individuals can offer empathy, wisdom, and encouragement, creating a sense of shared understanding that empowers everyone involved. When we are supported by others who truly understand, we are reminded that we are not alone, that our pain and healing are part of a shared human experience. In seeking out this community, you take another step toward a life of resilience and self-worth, grounded in shared wisdom and compassion. Each time you reach out, each friendship you nurture, you take back a piece of the power the narcissist attempted to steal. By investing your energy into relationships that respect your autonomy and honor your boundaries, you shift your focus from the hurt inflicted by one person to the love and support available from many. This choice disempowers the narcissist as they thrive in the shadows of isolation and dependence. In building a strong support network, you step into the light, embraced by connections that lift you up rather than weigh you down. Reclaiming your power through community is a journey, one that reinforces your worth and strengthens your spirit. The narcissist may try to linger in your thoughts, but with a network of allies beside you, their hold weakens, fading into the background as your new connections take precedence. In surrounding yourself with people who value your growth, you establish a life that celebrates your resilience and respects your journey. As you look around at those who genuinely care for you, remember this: the narcissist's regret lies in seeing you thrive, in witnessing the strength and connection they never expected you to reclaim. In rebuilding your support network, you not only defy their expectations, but embody a life of peace and fulfillment that they can no longer touch. 6. Radical self-acceptance and personal growth. The journey out of a narcissistic relationship often culminates in a surprising revelation: the realization that your true power lies not in revenge or confrontation, but in radical self-acceptance. What does it mean to fully accept oneself after enduring emotional manipulation, self-doubt, and the depletion that a narcissist brings? It is the realization that you do not need anyone's approval to be whole, and that your worth is not defined by anyone else's perception or treatment of you. Radical self-acceptance requires a willingness to look inward, to see yourself beyond the distortions the narcissist may have cast upon you. Stoicism teaches us that true peace lies within, that self-worth is not dependent on external validation, but on our own actions, thoughts, and beliefs. Imagine embracing yourself, flaws, scars, strengths, and all, with a commitment to live with integrity and compassion. For the narcissist, this is unimaginable. They exist in a world defined by appearances, facades, and external validation. But for you, It is a gateway to true freedom. In embracing self-acceptance, you no longer view yourself through the narcissist's eyes. You do not measure your worth by their opinion or actions. Instead, you see yourself with clarity, recognizing the resilience, courage, and compassion that carried you through a challenging experience. This acceptance is transformative. It liberates you from the need to prove yourself, to seek approval, or to justify your choices to anyone but yourself. Ask yourself, who am I, apart from this relationship? What values define me? What strengths have I gained through this journey? These questions invite you to turn inward, to honor the journey you've walked and the person you've become. Through this lens, you discover that each challenge, each moment of self-doubt, has contributed to a deeper understanding of yourself. This is the heart of Stoicism, finding strength and wisdom through adversity, learning to stand grounded within oneself, regardless of external circumstances. For the narcissist, your self-acceptance is unsettling. They relied on your insecurities, your need for their approval, and your desire to please. They assumed you would continue seeking their validation, trapped in a cycle of self-doubt. But by choosing self-acceptance, you show them that their influence is no longer relevant. You embody a strength they can neither understand nor control, a calm, self-assured presence that speaks of resilience and inner peace. This commitment to personal growth extends beyond self-acceptance. It means pursuing goals, dreams, and relationships that align with your values, interests, and aspirations. It is about living a life that reflects who you truly are, rather than who someone else wanted you to be. In choosing this path, you embrace the fullness of your potential, taking control of your own narrative. No longer constrained by their expectations or judgment, you live with the freedom to pursue what genuinely fulfills you. The narcissist's regret lies in seeing you thrive, witnessing a life that they cannot disrupt. As you grow, they are left with the realization that their control was temporary, their influence fleeting. Your journey to self-acceptance and personal growth embodies the very things they feared: independence, resilience, and inner peace. As you reflect on this journey, breaking free from manipulation, recognizing trauma bonds, embracing self-education, setting boundaries, rebuilding support networks, and cultivating radical self-acceptance, you may realize that your power lies not in changing the past, but in shaping your future. You stand here, having reclaimed parts of yourself that once seemed lost, equipped with insights and resilience that no one can take away. The path you have walked is one of courage and integrity, rooted in the wisdom of Stoicism and fueled by a commitment to your well-being. The narcissist may look back with regret, but that regret holds no power over you now. You are free, strong, and grounded in a life that reflects your true worth. If you found strength or resonance in this journey, consider sharing your thoughts below. Reflecting and connecting with others on this path can be a powerful reminder that you are not alone, that healing is possible. Remember to like, share, and subscribe if you feel this message can support others who might be in a similar struggle. Together, we can foster a community of resilience, wisdom, and strength, embracing the power of self-acceptance and the peace that comes from living with authenticity. Thank you for being here, for choosing your growth, and for embodying the strength that others may one day look to for inspiration. Take care on your journey forward.